Surrounding nearly 24 school districts in Massachusetts. More than $100 million in federal funding to those schools has been cut by the Trump administration. Today, we're learning more about the programs and services that could be affected. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Locree joining us live in studio tonight with the latest on that. Reagan?
Yeah, that's right, Chris. This news has been shocking school districts across the state since it was announced yesterday. And today, we're getting reaction from more of the districts.
This week, Governor Maura Healey's office announced that 20 Massachusetts school districts and 2 private schools will soon be hit by federal cuts. On your screen is a list of the districts and schools here in Western Mass that will be affected, as well as how much funding they're losing. We reached out to all of the districts and schools on this list, and most were still not ready to go on camera today.
The biggest reaction is I'm disappointed. I understand that there's, I don't think, even from this level, I've worked 10 years here to try to make the town itself more efficient and effective. And I can only imagine what that must be like at the federal level to deal with all these different bureaucracies.
West Springfield Mayor Will Reichelt sharing his reaction to the Trump administration's planned cuts, which includes more than $350,000 to his town. He tells Western Mass News that although he's understanding about making cuts on a federal level, he is upset that cutting education is on the menu.
Because we struggle so much with the needs of kids, post-COVID that we're still dealing with, even though it's 5 years past, and just the infrastructure issues that we have with aging buildings.
Mayor Reichelt says he believes these cuts were, in a sense, low-hanging fruit, citing unused emergency funding from the COVID pandemic. However, the mayor believes the school district will be fine for now.
We followed the Fed's rules in the last administration to make sure that money was obligated and properly documented, and we should be able to have it spent within the next month or so.
However, the mayor fears this could be a sign of things to come,
which could, become a problem for our operating budget going forward, which becomes a problem.
Again, Mayor Reichelt's overall theme with these cuts is disappointment. He says he's disappointed that this is something his office will have to push back on, adding that they need to advocate for their students. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Locree for Western Mass News.
Reagan, thanks for that live report. And still ahead here on